We very recently took possession of what is considered to be the finest collection of Troy-related brewing memorabilia and ephemera.
Beer. I'm Craig Gravina. I'm co-founder of the Albany Ale Project and local beer historian and author of Upper Hudson Valley Beer. The whole Hudson Valley was one of the largest ale-producing centers of North America during the 19th century. Between the cities of Hudson, Albany, and Troy, there's really probably more ale made here than anywhere else in the nation. At any given time, there's probably anywhere between 10 and 20 breweries operating in the city of Troy. I can only imagine what Albany and Troy smelled like in the 19th century. There's constantly the mashing of grains going on, and it's a very, very distinct smell. So, you know, and they employed a good number of people in both the cities. So, with that sort of base of the brewing industry being here, you know, you're talking about anywhere between 50 and 100 employees at some of these breweries. So they were sort of a staple of these cities. There were men that would carry buckets and growlers to different industries. You know, they'd come over to the iron industry and bring buckets of beer from the breweries there too. So a lot of these bottles are pre-prohibition. You can tell by what's called a lightning enclosure, and the ones over here have more of like a whiskey bottle type to them. So that's pretty indicative of an early 20th century, late 19th century beer bottle. These ones up front are pretty interesting. They're made by the Stoll Brewing Company. It's actually Stollo, and Stollo was made during Prohibition. It's like a soft drink. It's like a modern day malto, or like a malt-based non-alcoholic. So prior to the turn of the 20th century, beer advertising was usually done on boxes or kegs or print advertising. Right around the turn of the century is they developed the technology to start doing porcelain wrapped beer trays. So you start seeing beer trays appear for advertising. And this isn't just Troy, it's all over the country and really all over the world. And they were giveaways that the breweries would give to bars and taverns and stuff to put out to advertise their beer. They're not very good at carrying beer, but they were very good at getting the names of breweries out to the public. So there's a misconception that American beer has always been sort of yellow, fizzy lager, like some of the big Midwestern breweries make today. Not even Midwestern breweries, big international breweries. But actually, American beer has had quite a variety for as long as it's been around. You know, like you can take a look at some of these labels and you can see that there's Fitzgerald Brothers was making porter, and Stanton was making pale ale, and there's a cream ale, and yeah, lagers being made, but they're making all different kinds of dark lagers and Wurzburger beer and Burgermaster beer. So there's a lot more variety than American brewing is given credit for. A lot of the breweries that come out of Albany, they're originally Dutch, and then they become English and Scottish. The breweries in Troy have a tendency to be more Irish-based. And Troy starts moving into lager production before Albany does. That really is what Troy becomes known for, is its lager production at the end of the 19th century. The beer that was being made in Albany and Troy, we're talking about large industrial operations. We're talking about 75 to 100,000 barrels of beer a year in the late 19th century, and by the time that they get into the 20th century, you know, they're upwards of 500,000 to 1 million barrels of beer, depending on the brewery. Craft beer in and of itself is, the idea behind craft beer is that it's small and sort of locally sourced, and you know, there are some very large craft breweries too, Sierra Nevada, Sam Adams, but Brown's Brewing Company was one of the first brew pubs in the area, and it's actually one of the oldest operating ones in the country, especially on the East Coast. And then you also have Rare Form, and the newest entry to the Troy brewing scene is the Beer Diviner, which just opened up in the city.
Yes, I will admit that every now and then I'm known to have a taste. I am Michael Barrett. I'm the Executive Director of Hudson Mohawk Industrial Gateway. We run the Burden Ironworks Museum here in South Troy. We basically celebrate the industrial heritage of the Greater Capital District with a particular emphasis on the city of Troy. We are open by appointment or dumb luck, but appointments are preferred.